Who can believe it? The summer is just disappearing. Hi, I'm Dara Bunjon, and if this is the first time you're joining the show, I am the food enthusiast, PR maven, food writer, food stylist, and frustrated baker. Today's show, we have the pleasure of having Eula McDowell of the Big Bean Theory. You might remember she was in the Owings Mills Mall in the food court. She was in the Mount Vernon Marketplace and at many, many of the farmers market. She is the queen of beans. Hello, Eula.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
We're all doing great. Glad you could be here. Good afternoon. So, what's cooking in your kitchen today?
Of course, something about the beans. We're going to do beans today. Beans is a bean pizza. So, what we do is we take the regular pizza and in the pizza in the marinara sauce we incorporate some red beans. Use that as the base. Fry up some. Put your traditional cheese, your traditional zucchini, peppers, or whatever you have. Make a bean instead of a pizza.
Well, great. I'm just trying to bring this up so I can see if there's any questions. So, people, please feel free to send in your questions. Um, why is this not opening up? So, let's try that and see what happens. So, Eula, how did the beans start for you? I
Oh,
think it was,
okay. Do you remember the story I told you?
well, I think you needed to tell everybody. I might remember the story, but how did you get started?
I got started in a really funny way, a really traditional way. We were having dinner at my grandmother's house, and my grandmother always blessed the table, and she asked me to come and eat some of her black eyed peas. I did not like them because they were sitting on the table looking all crusty, and so I told her that I was not going to eat those beans, and she said, since I want to talk about her food and I didn't do any of the cooking, it was my turn to start doing the beans. And so the next family event that we had, I asked my mother what kind would she put in her beans, and whatever she put in her beans, I just did my own thing and made it better. And so it's been a hill of beans ever since.
So, I already have a question. It said, who invented the beaniza?
Me, of course, I
Of
did.
course.
I mean,
Of course.
yeah, I did that because what I want to do is find a way where we can take traditional everyday food and just put beans in it. So I'm like, okay, you just don't want to take pizza and throw beans on it. How can we incorporate this bean cleverly so that people will still eat it and not know that they're getting it? And so that's when I took the tomato, the regular tomato sauce that we would use to lace the pizza dough, and I pureed some beans and some what do you call it, the different herbs and spices in the mixture of the pizza sauce, and just spreaded it, and then this way people would get it and they just didn't even know. So it was a clever way to hide the beans.
Well, we met, just tell people how we met. I don't know how we connected, but I went to an event, whether it was all, I think it might have been Alton Brown at the Hippodrome.
Yeah.
And, and maybe we were communicating, it was a number of years ago. So I don't know whether it was Instagram or Twitter or my blog, Dining Dish, whatever. And you came up to me and you had a container of bean soup. Let me tell everybody, I'm not a legume lover. I've been known to flip lima beans out of crab soup. So I went, okay, I brought it home. Wow, what flavor. You have the most amazing palette of putting herbs and spices together. Um, you have a soup now that you've intrigued me with, which is a lima bean and crab soup that you're working with. So that's sort of puree. What other flavors are you putting in there? Are you willing to share?
Of course I am. Well, with the lima bean with crab is the flip for that was we wanted to do a cream of crab soup because we are known in Baltimore for crab soup, and so I wanted to do something without adding the milk, and I felt like the lima bean would give off a creamy consistency without adding milk to it because a whole lot of my recipes they start off as with a vegan base. But I said, okay, with this lima bean with Fred, we want it to taste like it's gonna have a creamy consistency, but use the lima beans to juice it and to give it that, embodiment of flavor. So what we did was we took the lima bean, we took the corn, of course. We didn't need any potato because the starch from the lima bean already gave it that body. And it has like mushrooms, a little cascading ribbon of spinach in it, and lots of crab meat.
Well,
It's really good.
I have to wrap my mouth around a spoonful of that. That's coming. And that's you actually do a Friday fish fry. That is a
It's
tongue
a tongue
twister.
twister. It is
Yeah.
because it's Fabulous Fancy Fish Friday.
Well, let's tell people it's more than just fish that's being fried. The last one you did the big bean burger, a salmon cake dinner, the fish fry platter, vegan and shrimp po' boys, kale salad, mac and cheese, um, and the lima bean crab soup. So people can pick that up at 1700 Edmondson Avenue. And just
Yep.
so people can connect, just you'll find her Facebook, Instagram, the web, Big Bean Theory. Very
Yeah.
simple. You'll find the web page. Um, how are you managing with COVID and your business? What's going on?
Well, we're managing fairly as well as to be expected, and it gave me an opportunity to kind of like reinvent myself. This was in my scope of exiting, but now we do things on the web. So if you want to, you can reach me, like she said, on Facebook, on Instagram. You can also see me at different farmer markets. There's a farmer market on West Baltimore Street, so we're doing that on Mondays, every other Monday now. And I'm doing Zoom classes with the Diva Yogi. And after we finish our yoga on Sundays, then that's where you'll see me featured doing all kinds of vegan brunches on Sunday. So you can go to that website and see me there. It's the
Right.
Diva
So
Yogi.
that's a virtual brunch. It is vegan. And
Yeah.
I watched one of them. Being not a vegan, I was sort of taken back how to make a vegan bacon. And your video was showing using the banana peel, strips
Yeah.
of that, frying that, putting it in a bunch of aromatics,
Mm-hmm.
and then putting it on a pan and baking it so it becomes crispy. So it's
Crispy.
liquid smoke and some other items. So
Yeah.
everybody, if you want to see some of these videos, definitely you'll find the link on bigbeantheory.com. You're doing beanie bags. What are these beanie bags?
Well, we is a variation of my soup. So we have all of these different soups, and people want to make them at home when they can't find me at the different farmer markets. And so what I did was I put all of the ingredients in a nice little raffia bag, and it has the ingredients and the instructions on it. So it has some of the dry ingredients. What it will give you is the dry beans. You'll also get the seasoning package that goes with it, and just directions on how you would put it in your crock pot and make some at home. Now, one of the things with the beanie bag that it doesn't tell you is that you can use your own imagination to create your beantastic goodie too. You start off with my stock and then go ahead and get creative with
Well, let me say this that your palette, I was always, when I was down the Mount Vernon Marketplace, you gave me a beautiful iced tea with thyme in it and hibiscus flower. I don't know are there favorite herbs or spices that you find that you keep coming back to?
Well, one of my favorite herbs is the Thai basil. Thai basil is just amazing. There's not too many things that you can't put it in to perk it up and make it taste really good. So my favorite herb, I have to say, would be the Thai basil. I use it in everything. It gives food a distinctive flavor, and um, from what I'm hearing from my customers, you can tell my soup or my teas anywhere else because I do certain things with it. And one of the things would be that Thai basil. So authentic to me.
Yeah. Well, let's see. Demetria Barrett is in here. She's saying best food ever. And then she's putting in your link. She's helping you sell. So she's here. And another question. Someone looked at the menu for the fish fry and they said, are the beans integrated into all these dishes? The fish
Most of
fry.
That's a good question. And yes, ma'am, most of all of the dishes have some sort of bean in it, whether we utilize it in a flour or mash it up and put it into your food. So with the fish fry, what we do is we'll put the garbanzo bean in with the cornmeal and the rest of the ingredients that we use for it. For the salmon cake, instead of using bread, we'll use the bean flour. So we found a clever way to season it and put it in there so you get at least a quarter cup of bean in every serving of any dish that you get from us.
Okay. So when I saw you, there was an event in Hamden maybe
Oh
a
yeah,
year ago,
yeah,
and you had the crab cake, and I got your crab cake. Wow. New flavors blew me away.
yes,
So, in going through my notes, you're actually selling your recipe just for a mere $3 for your crab cake.
yeah.
People can
Well,
contact you.
yeah, you can because we're gonna start doing putting them on the web, and then that way, when you go in, you can get one of the recipes, whatever featured recipe that is for that day, you can get it for $3. And then at the end of the week, we'll compile a whole book for you. Yeah.
Um, people who we talked about this the other day. I had worked for a spice company that sold beans, all kinds of beans, gourmet beans, things of that nature. But I also know that some beans can get old and they're hard to make. You had recommended you where locally here in Baltimore, or on a national level, if they can order in, where's the best place to get beans? What's a good way to fix beans? Go for it. You're the bean queen.
Okay.
Answer.
Okay. So for the people who are cooking at home, the home cookers, the everyday cookers, I would recommend that you go to Giant. Giant says the best beans, as I say all the time, all beans are not created equal. So you want to look for a bean that's easy. You, you can look at the freshness. They keep pretty well. But what I've learned is that every bean is not a good bean. And so from the brands that I've tasted, just getting them off the shelf and not saying, okay, we're going to choose Goya or we're going to choose this brand. Giant's brand is the best for home cooking. They're always fresh. They're cleaned really well. And now on my level, on a larger level, I order my beans. I order my beans by the basket. But if you're going to just do them every day or just go to the market to pick up some, I will hit to the local Giants near you. Not trying to do a commercial for them, but those are the things that I like. But as far as preparing them, you soak them, you rinse them off, you clean them, you soak them, and you can soak them in a teaspoon of baking powder. I mean baking soda. And what that's going to do is soften them up a little bit, and it's going to pull a shell off of them, that first shell off of them. And if you want to get the gas, I just did this by um people telling me, "Oh, beans are so gassy, they're so gassy," and I know that baking soda is good for digestive, and also ginger is. So what I do is I just clean the ginger and I shave it in there with the potato peeler, and just maybe 3 or 4 slices of it, and just let it sit in cold water. Put it in the refrigerator, and then the next day rinse it off and go for it, and it breaks it down pretty well, and it helps them to cook easier too.
Were you saying that you peel the skins off the beans, or I didn't
No,
hear you right?
what will happen is once you clean the beans, rinse them off, and you put them in the water, some of the hull will start coming off of it. You notice that some of the shells start coming off of it. That's because the baking soda or whatever solution you put in it is softening it. So it helps it to cook better.
Okay, so I have a funny story that's just brought something back. I started helping a friend in her kitchen. This is a number of years ago in DC.
Uh-huh.
And I was her assistant. On day one, she gave me two number 10 cans of um, shoot, garbanzo beans. And she says, peel the skins off of them. She says, take the skins off. And I found out that was how you torture a new person in the kitchen. You give them some insane job. But two number
Was
10
it hard for you to
cans.
do? Was it hard for you
Well,
to do?
most of it, when you were soaking it, a lot of it floated, but just you
Right.
had to put your fingers on it. They were already pre-cooked. They weren't raw. They were, you know, garbanzo beans in a can. But
Chickpeas.
that was 10, the number 10 can, people, is like that. It's
Huge.
huge, huge. That brought that back to me. Um, let's talk about your Big Bean Burger.
Okay.
Some of the places like McDonald's and things all of a sudden had these vegan burgers, but you've been doing them for quite some time. Are you still with
Well,
me?
yes, I am still with you. And I knew that it was going to be a bean thing sooner or later. I knew it. I was like, okay, pretty soon everybody's going to try to jump on a beanie bag wagon. And they need to come see me because maybe I can help them out, help me, help them, help us. But the beanie burger, I did the beanie burger because this was my 5-year plan. And when we moved to Owings Mills, we didn't have, we only were doing soups. I only wanted to utilize that kitchen as a pantry where I could distribute the soup to the different farmer markets. I wasn't even
Right.
ready to start doing the burgers, but we had to do something, and we couldn't just sell soups all the time. So that's when the bean burger and the lentil burger and all of the beanie fried burgers came along.
I know that you're avid about exercising because at one point I did get together with you and then I hurt my foot. We went out walking. You were kind enough to slow your pace down. Um, I'm just trying to think. You have, is it two sons? Am I correct?
Three, three,
Three. Okay. Lost count. Sorry. So do
and a
any of them work?
grandson. All guys around here.
Well, then you're really the queen bee,
Yeah.
right? Yes, you
Yeah.
are. So are any of your sons into the food or into the business or
Well, they all started out helping me. They did the farmers market, they did the prepping for me, but now all of them have cleverly escaped and think that they're gonna go on about their business. But children, they help you out when it's fun for them, but after they get their little lives, they want to do what they want to do. But they're all gonna return back to this. They're all gonna come back. Children always think that, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that. But I bet you somewhere along the line they'll be returning. So
right? Well,
that's it.
I know that you're looking to get the beanie bag off.
Yes.
And didn't you do something with some sort of program, 10,000 small businesses?
Oh yeah, Goldman Sachs, 10,000 small businesses. Yes, and so that's where I learned really how to put formulas together and how to make this business work. It was an excellent program. I love that program, and it taught me a lot. So a lot of the things that I'm doing now are conducive to my exit plan. What it's going to do is help put systems in place so that when we're ready to navigate and do our next thing, I'll be able to do so.
Um, what's what's down the road that you can tell us about now that you think that you're going to be doing when COVID goes away? Let's tell people that you are catering,
Yes,
that
we are,
and you're following all
and
the
I'm a
serve
personal
safe.
chef. And I do personal chefy things. I have a couple of clients that I do personal chef work for, and we're also in the process of compiling this cookbook. You think it's easy, but it's not easy. It's not one of the my favorite things to do, but it's something that my customers are looking forward to seeing, and it's something that I have all of the recipes. So we have all of the recipes for the cookbook, and I keep adding more. But where I am now is putting the directions for the different recipes. And so we have a cookbook coming up, and we also want to do a little show showing how to cook and prepare my beanie licious delicacies, and we also have a cafe that will be coming soon, like next
Well,
year.
good, good. Now,
So we're only going to be
for
selling breakfast and lunch stuff.
well, you have a life,
Yeah, yeah,
breakfast and lunch, and then they can get carry out for dinner.
that's right.
They can pick up. You'll have the pre-made things of soup, and they can do
Hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Um, I had a question and went disappeared. So let's remind people that if they want to get in touch with you, Big Bean Theory.
Big Bean
And
Theory, bigbeantheory.com. It's really easy. It's just the name. So when you think of Big Bean Theory, just go ahead and type in Big Bean Theory, put .com on it, and press. And
that's your
we're gonna
that's your web
yes,
page on
that's my
Facebook,
web
Big
page,
Bean
my
Theory,
Facebook page, and Instagram
Inst-
page.
and Instagram. The pictures look great. Just
Yeah.
I look at the food, and so we have that. Remind people to connect with you if you want to do a pickup on the fish fry, and you'll find details of that on the web page. Um, what's your culinary fail? I told you I was going to ask you this. What was
Wow.
your ultimate culinary fail?
Okay, you're getting ready to laugh. Okay, so this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. I'm still shocked. Okay, so we get some students from um, one of the culinary schools. And so I meet this young entrepreneur, this young chef. And so I tell this person that I'm really excited because now I got some help. I got some trained people who know how to cook and they're going to help me. So I have this is when I first started the business. And I was like, okay, I got some really, really good help because I had been working crazy doing everything myself. So when I hear that I have a chef and somebody that's going to follow directions and really help me get out there, I'm so excited. So I have this big order the next day. I'm doing all of the prep work. Everything is prepped and is ready. I tell the chef, okay, I need to go to the store to pick up some more items. This is for tomorrow, and we're gonna finish it off tomorrow. They tell me, they say, oh well, let me do it, and I say no, don't do it because I want to show you how I want to do it because they have all of these ideas of running the kitchen and doing things their way, but you have to learn a person's recipe. You have to learn how they do it, and then after you're good at it, they'll relinquish all of those responsibilities and let you do it. So I go to the store to pick up the rest of the ingredients that I need, and I leave them in the store to mind the store, to wait on the customer. And you know, when I came back, they had burned all of my stuff that I had prepped for this event that I was gonna do the next day, and cooked the food. And then they cooked the macaroni. And when they cooked the macaroni too much, when they let the macaroni overcook, instead of just discarding it, they went on and put the other ingredients in it. I lost it. So that was a big. I'm telling you, that was the first time I had to be professional and teach and just hold it together. That's the worst thing that's ever happened to me. And I think that with my personality and the way that I am now, nobody else is going to do that. It was terrible.
It's not fun. It reminds me of a story. My
That was
friend
the first time I
Jeffrey.
had a drink. That was
Okay.
my friend. I was so livid. I was so mad. My girlfriend, she told me, she said, Eula, please just drink this. And when I drank it, that was the first time I had a real drink because I'm not a drinker. And so when I drank it, it automatically pushed my shoulders back and brushed me on my head. I said, oh, this is why people drink, but it was the first time. It was so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just going to interject. I worked on this book, Yum Tasty Recipes from Culinary Greats, with my friend Jeffrey Spear. And we worked with the culinary students from one of the high schools.
Hmm.
And that sort of reminded me of the story because they had not seen a lot of the ingredients and certain things went in the wrong recipe. So, yeah,
I mean, they burnt the stuff, and I was like, "Oh my God, the store is closed. All of this stuff was prepped for tomorrow. Now I got to run around and make life harder for me." But it was a very good teachable moment. So from that moment on, I made sure that I gave very clear instructions. Was very sturdy in the way that I said or articulated and made sure you knew where I was coming from. It was the awful moment
Oh,
of other people.
yeah. So, what question didn't I ask you that I should have?
Do I still like cooking?
Hey, Eula, do you still like cooking?
Absolutely, and especially for people who really appreciate what I do. Because in this business, in this culinary business, and with all of the ups and downs with closing two restaurants and looking forward to doing another one, you can lose your zeal. You can lose that little passion because some of the times I can remember saying, wow, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. You know, is this still for me? But then when you have customers and they come to you and they support you and they
Right.
still want what you have, you get it back. You get it back. So there's still a love for my cooking and still a love for what I do. So I can, you start getting that little warm feeling again. So yes, I still love it.
Well, that's, fabulous. Again, people, the fish fry is August 28th. Uh, Big Bean Theory. And I
Red
have to
beans come
say,
through.
where beans come true. Before we sign off, I have to say that you have a better smile than Cheryl Teagues. Do you know
Oh,
who
thank
Cheryl
you.
Teagues?
Of course I do.
Okay, and you have the best smile.
Thank
So
you.
thank you so much, everybody. Reach out to Eula. Anything you want to know about beans, and send her $3 and get that crab cake recipe. It's really amazing.
Thank-
Eula, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. All right, folks, couple of notes. Um, the American Heart Association is now doing live Zoom cooking classes, and the link will float up. They're heart healthy classes, and it's actually a chef here in Baltimore, so it's free on Zoom. So look for that. And I'm just going to read this because I can't memorize it all. Tessame, which is a local producer here, the Flavor Forward Organic Fresh Food Company, recently announced a brand new partnership with Jerry Garcia family. With a strong team connection and desire to push the boundaries of traditional health food, the partnership's first co-branded collaboration is a saucy tribute to the rock legend Cosmic Jerry sauce. The new product combines clean eating with creative flavors using a blend of honey, mustard, and buffalo sauce with a hint of rich umami. Cosmic Jerry sauce is available exclusively online at tessemaes.com, and that's TESSEMAES.com. And fans will receive a limited edition Jerry branded tie-dye buff free with the purchase of 2 bottles during the pre-sale running now through August 23rd. So if you're into Jerry Garcia and you're into special sauces, healthy sauces, spicy sauces, go to tessemaes.com. Next week, I'm thrilled to have a friend of mine on, cookbook author of 14 books, Nancy McDermott. She is very involved in many of the different organizations, had lived in the Orient, so a lot of her books are Asian themed, and then she lives down south, so Southern baking, cakes, pies, and she's a phenomenal talker. People were drawn to her, so don't miss the show. So mark calendar, and Nancy McDermott was a James Beard nominee. So another week has gone by. Always wear your mask, please. If you want to find me on social media at Dara Cooks, the show will be live on J More Living Facebook, and that will be immediate. And in a short period of time, it'll be up on jmoreliving.com. If you need to reach me or have any questions whatsoever, you can reach me at food@jmoreliving.com. Stay safe, wear your mask. May your plates always, always remain full.